Okay, so now the so he said that you should go ahead and he was very happy. He was happy to find out that there were Babylonians, that they weren't Babylonians, that they were in fact from Alexandria. And Rabbi Yossi was very happy. He was very happy. So I found a piece in the Shmir Shabbos, the Shiyom Mitzvah Be'aloch from Bronze Atzal. Fantastic insight into human nature, and I think it's a wonderful piece. Basically, he says that why was Rabbi Yossi an A? What was bothering Rabbi Yossi? That l'chayra, these guys, they were being mechal yantif. They were pulling out the hair of either the person, or they were pulling out the hair of the seir on yantif. Right? They were pulling out the hair, and no matter what they did, they didn't stop them till they had to go ahead and build a ramp. In other words, they were doing it. I'm sure Bezdin said, guys, it's us to do. It's us to do. It's us to do. Yet this minig of shepherding them, and it was a minig Shem Shemayim. They said, get out of here, take our Averis and leave. That's what they said. That's the end of the Gemara. The Gemara said, Tul Tana Mashahit Sipira Dain, go ahead, take this animal, this Averis, and of the Averis of the door, don't leave it around here. Go ahead and get rid of it. Go ahead and get rid of it. That's what we're saying. Get rid of it. So the kavana was this great kavana, wonderful kavana. Yet they were doing something that's really, really wrong. How is that possible? Like what happens over here? So listen to this the lashon of it's. I have it on the computer for the guys to see, and I'm reading it over here. So he says the following. He says he adds one more thing. He says that they should have been so sensitive to this person who's bringing the animal out. He didn't last the year, guys. The one who brought the seir he would die. It's a medrash. He would die. So this guy is going ahead. He's being mafka his life to go ahead and be mechaper on the generation, and you're pulling his hair. It's a halak. So Rabbi Yossi he couldn't believe it. And listen to the lashon of Braun. His beautiful lashon, right? He says, they weren't able to be moichet till they had to made a big kevish, right? So I underline these words. This is the derech of a nation that don't learn. They don't learn. They do something. Machmas teshukas libam. You know, what are they doing it? They're doing it because they feel it's right in their hearts. Take care of Avis and go. In other words, there's no. They're in their minds. They're doing the best thing. Devara machmas shukasam libam beli das Torah. Shesoivrim they hold the kimashem choishvim lishma. Since they're mechavim lishma to get rid of this animal with all the averis. Mutalasa is kol apulais. You could do anything. Afilu disattaching here on Yom Kippur. The aim matzor lehem, and nothing could stop them. They felt so self-righteous. For oid, mechayav machem shein oisim k'maisam. They were mechayav others people that didn't do like them. And Bezdin could even stop them. He was in pain. He was embarrassed. The Babylonians, they're mishpacha. No. She ain't about Babylonians. They're not Babylonians. And that gave him tremendous nachas ruach. But ad kedei kach, that it's people, we know that if a person feels right and they feel they're acting in the right, despite the fact that Torah may say the opposite, it doesn't make a difference because this is what they feel. And they feel it's right. And that's why you have the door we're living in. Whatever you do is right. You take pride, in what you are and who you are, and you just do what you do. Again, there's no, but again, the lashon, Shem Oivdim, what do they do? They do whatever they want without das Torah. They just do whatever they want. That's it. So that's one very, very geschmack thing. I think was very, very pertinent that I liked very much. I heard another thing from Teif Masuli Bornstein. I think it's a mitzvah to say over, but Be'ez Hashem, we have to get to it. Okay, says the Mishnah. We're on Be'ez Hashem. We're on Samich Vav Amid Aleph by the Mishnah. Ma'kir Yerushalayim, the Chashuva Yerushalayim, Hayim Alav and Isai at Sukkah Rishona. They would be Malavim to the first Sukkah, and Esa Sukkah Yerushalayim at Saik. They were 10 Sukkahs from Yerushalayim till Saik, till the cliff. 10 huts they would have. Tishim Ris, there was a total of 90 Ris. Shivu Mechzel Chol Mil, 7.5 all mil. So 7.5 into 90. So basically it's 12 mil. 12 times 7 is 84. 12 times 6 is 6 is 90. You have a total in 90 Ris, you have 12 mil. A mil is 2,000 amis. So basically you have in between each hut, if you have 10 huts, you have 11 spaces. Guys, I think, okay, well, I'll try to get this up on the chart over here. I'm just gonna, okay, the guys are gonna miss something. Okay, so the Mishnah had discussed, the Mishnah had discussed the tzaik, the distance to the tzaik, and the different shittas. We have 4 shittas about this 90 ris. Tanarabanan. Esa sukkos, there were 10 sukkos, Ushnai Masamilin of 12 mil. How you Divrei Meya. So Remeya is the Tana of Mishnah. Rabbi Yudaima, Teisha sukkos, there were 9 huts, about Sara milim, and not 12 milim. There were only 10 milim. Take a look at your picture, guys. Rabbi Yehuda, count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's 9 and there's 10 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So l'chayra, like him, he didn't leave outside the tchum. You guys like Rabbi Yehuda, right? He didn't leave outside the tchum, right? He just stayed beside. You don't have that 4,000 amas at the end, guys. You see? Okay. Next shita, Rabbi Yossi. I'm Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi, I'm a chamesh sukkos v'asara milam hayu. The kulin al yedei erev. Okay, Rabbi Yossi, which says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now each one you're going to have between each one. If there's 10 mil, you're going to have 2 between each one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, you're going to and each one. So the only way to do this is al yedei erev, because right you have to make an erev in the mid mark, guys, to go ahead. Okay, and therefore his son says to him facetiously. So I'm Rabbi Yossi, Sachli Elazar b'ni. My son Elazar told me, if it's an Erev, right? I can make it the following. Guys, look at the chart. Beautiful. The Tchum Erev, the other way, Tchum Erev. Right? So you'll be able to go ahead using that Tchum Erev, because again, you're going to get 2,000 extra amas in each direction. Right? With 2, you'll be able to go ahead and only have, instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, you'd have 1, 2, 3 spaces. Okay, so that's what he told him. Back in the Gemara. Okay, now we got that. Excellent. Right? What are you talking about? Each one, each tchum, each person. No. Each person from a different place. This person this way, this one this, but yeah, each person each direction.
It's part of the avodah. You can do whatever you want.
No, I don't. I'm not sure. This is not part of the avodah. It doesn't say anywhere that. Yeah, but he's not the problem. The guys accompanying. It's for the guys who are accompanying him.
They were all Kohanim who did this.
According to the Mishnah, it was a mini Kohanim, right? According to the Mishnah, it was mini Kohanim, and the Mishnah concluded there was a person who was Yisrael who actually did this. A person who was Yisrael who actually did this. So the Mishnah said that the Kohanim made it keva, that they would be the ones doing this. Okay, now they got to they offered him food as he went. I'll call sukkah oimim loy hari mazon b'hari mayim. This is your mazon, this is your mayim. Tana me oil me chutz v'chadam l'kach. No person ever ate. El she'ena doime mi sheyesh le pas b'salo mi she'en le pas b'salo. Guys, let me ask this question. You wake up. It's you just ate like it's a mitzvah to eat, right? So everyone eats Erev Yom Kippur, right? By Kol Nidre, you're starving. There's the crazy psychological thing about I can't eat, right? Conversely, there's the psychology. Can you imagine, guys, you woke up Shabbos morning, you had a nice Danish with a coffee there, and if you wanted, you could eat it, but you don't have to. Fast would not be that hard. It's called pas pasalo. You have the bread in the basket. You have it over there. So that's this. I heard such a beautiful word, b'shem of Koinis Kalman, Eish Kaddish presents the Rav. He was killed in the ghetto in Warsaw ghetto, I think. He gave a shmooze in Tufshin Mem Aleph, 40, probably late in 41, 42. And he said, what's the difference? You have these Babylonians, Bavloyim, who they were mamish, in their minds, they were doing the right thing. They were sending it out. Lishma, take our Averis and get them out of here. And you have these other people accompanying him, and they're called Makira Yushalayim. They're the Chashuvim Yushalayim. Both lechavim for the same thing. Get rid of this thing to accompany him. And he said, listen what he said. He said, the difference is the Babylonians, or that Alexandria, who are they lechavim for? Themselves. Get rid of that goat. We don't want our Averis. Makir Yushalayim, they didn't care about themselves. What did they say? Here's something to eat. Here's something to drink. That's why they were chashuvim, because they cared about the others. They wanted themselves to get rid of their Averis, but no. What was more important to them was what? Was you need something to eat, you need something to drink, we'll accompany you, let's get going. They were thinking about Yenim, they were thinking of somebody else. That's why they were chashuvim. That made them special. It's a good word. Despite the fact this guy's good, and they were sensitive. This guy's dying. I'm telling you, he's going to die. He's not going to make it through the year. He's a stage 4 cancer patient. He's not making it through the year. Whatever the doctors tell him, he's not making it. And yet they cared about him. That's what they did. Yeah, they're fasting themselves. It's a gaval good to hear. It's nice. It's a beautiful day. No, I was very touched by it. Very nice to hear. Okay, what would he do when we get there? He would get there. He would go ahead and divide the Lashon Shal Shaharis. Geshmak, how did it get there, guys? What hete was there to go ahead and bring this ribbon? Can't carry. So there's one shot we said it was in the horns. It was in the horns of the animal. It was the horns of the animal, right? Or he prepared it beforehand. Or he prepared beforehand. As Taisi Shami says. So Maya Oisa Cholek Lashon Shal Shaharis. Fegdor v'nakri kula b'sela. Why did he divide it, half from the rock and half on the animal? Put the whole thing by the rock. After the Gemara, kid in the mitzvah b'seir, since it's a mitzvah to push the animal over, dilma kodim umalbin, maybe before he gets a chance to go ahead and push the animal over, the red thread will become white. Umiyas v'daite, and have yishuv adas, and he won't do it. I always thought, guys, the following. I thought it was the pushing off the cliff that was the kapara. You see from this Gemara, not. It's the shaluach lemidbar. Sending it out to the midbar is the kapara. That it goes out to the midbar is the kapara. Why? How's can be turning white before he went off the cliff? You see that what? It's the Indian of sending it out in the midbar, sending our Averis away. It's not the actual pushing off the cliff. So therefore, we don't put the whole thing on the rack, because if it gets red, he may get, Baruch Hashem, it's white, I got my kapara. He may not go ahead and push it off the cliff. Furthermore, the other question. So, Kule ben Karnov, go ahead and tie the whole thing between his horns. It says, Zimnin the Gomish Le'Lereshe. Maybe its head will get a little squished when it goes down the mountain. But you won't be able to see that what if it turned red or white. Tanrabanan. Where he's showing initially, Hayakoishrim Lashon Shal Zahiris. Tanrabanan. Where he's showing Hayakoishrim Lashon Shal Zahiris al Pesach Ulam. Initially, they would put a red string by the opening of the ulam. The ulam, again, in the Beis HaMikdash. Mibechutz, and it'll be outside where everyone could see it. Hilbin, if they saw it white, it got white. Hayasmechin, they were happy. Loy Hilbin, if it didn't, Hayatzavim, they were sad. Umisvayashim, and they were tzabrachin. They were embarrassed. And guess what? It's Yom Kippur. There's a din of simcha, and you should be sad. There's a simcha. So Eskinu sheyakoishim Pesach ulam b'bifnim. So they made a takana. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put it on the opening of the ulam in the inside, so no one will, not so many people will see it. V'adayin hayimatzitzin, they would still look for Ryan. Hilbin hayismechim, lay hilbin hayavitzavin. Eskinu sheyakoishim esayah chatzi b'selo chatzi ben karnov. So B'Rishayna, Avrami was speaking initially what they did, but as a result of people getting sabrachin, if it didn't turn white, they only did it that the Ishiti who could see it, the one who threw it off the cliff. Amrav Nachum bar Papa Mishum Ablaza Hakapar B'Rishayna Hoya Koishim Lashon Shal Zahiris. Initially, they would go ahead and tie the Lashon Shal Zahiris al Pesach Ulam B'Bifnim inside the Kimin Shagia Seir LeMidbar. Once the Seir reached the Midbar, Hoya Malbin. You hear, guys? It reached the Midbar. You see, Avrami, not when you threw it off the cliff. When did it turn white? When it reached the Midbar, right? It's Geshmak. It's not throwing off the cliff. V'yedu shenasu mitzvasa, and you know the mitzvah is done. Shnemar im yu chateichim kashonim. If your averis will be like red, kashelo yalbino, they'll be whitened like what? Like snow.
It would be if you push them off, they wouldn't know 2 hours later after your Kippur. He didn't go back to tell.
It would turn, it would still turn.
Nobody would know, because he was the only one who went to the last thing to push off.
Yeah, I don't think he told anyone. That's the whole point of only him saying it. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's again. Once you could, there's a possibility exists to be at Sovim. They took that off the charts. It's only about him. There wasn't Pshat is they did it by him, so and he would tell other people. They only did it by him because they would be
Only by him.
meaning it didn't always work. If it didn't work, people beat Sabrachin. So what? So he's gonna it work. He's the only one who sees it. What's he gonna do? You're gonna see. He goes back. No one knows. He goes back and stays alone. That was the takana, because this 50-50 l'chayra.
So he never told them what it was?
Afterwards, again, not on Yontif. There's an Inyan on Yontif being happy. So after Yontif, tell him whatever, Again, but the thing of they was at Sav on Yontif, we don't have to at Sav on Yontif to be sad. Okay, so we said that he didn't get reach half the mountain. He boiled Oisan Mahim Banda, real Litvish Akasha. It's Hasidish a thing, you threw the bear. They took the tzig, I fin sock, is Gavarin, Sticklich. And was is the halacha is mutter b'hanah? What's the halacha? Is mutter b'hanah not? Right? So Rabbi Shmuel Charama mutarim, Charama asurim. The Gadoli Amaroyim, Rabbi Shmuel they argue. One says it's mutter, one says it's asa. Mandam mutarim on the base. Ichsiv. It says in Vayikra Tezayin, pasuk of base. First state. The nasa hasoya alav. The Sar will carry on it all the Averis, Eretz Gezerah to the Eretz Gezerah, V'shilach es Asar b'midbar. Okay? And you'll send the Sar b'midbar. Just like a midbar, guys, is mutter b'hana, everything in the midbar is hefker, so to the Ivarim are hefker. It's a midbar. Things are hefker in the midbar. Manda amasurin, hay midbar my avidlay. What do they do with this raya? It's a very, very good raya. What do they do with the raya of midbar? It says involve Yud Chav Aleph Chav Beis. Okay, so what does it say? 3 times, guys. V'hasoyer asher ola olav hagoyrol azazel yomad chaylef nei Hashem lechaper olav l'shalach asol azazel hamidbara. So it says midbara once. Pasuk Chav Aleph. V'samach Aaron ashtei yadav al rosh hasor achay v'sfad olav es kol abayis ben yisrael es kol b'sheim kol b'nasan asol asor v'shilach b'yad ish mitim v'shilach b'yad ish iti midbara second time. Right? Pasuk Yud, Pasuk Chav Aleph. Pasuk Chav Beis v'shilach es asor midbar. So it says midbar. Good. My overlay midbar leifir tanya hamidbara b'midbar 3 times. L'rabbis noiva givon that is in the shilach of the Seir Mishlaleach in the Mishkan Nov and Givon. Shiloh in Mishkan Shiloh, based alone in the base of Mikdash. The Idach, and the other one who uses Midbar to tell me that what it's mutter b'hana. Hi Gezerah, my Avid Bay. What did I skip? Hi Gezerah. It's I skipped. Mandama Asur Nechsiv Gezerah. It says Gezerah, which means uninhabited. So what does he do with the raya of the one who says it's uninhabited? Be the Hi Gezerah, my Avid Bay. The one who says it's mutter. What does he do with the Gezerah? Miboy Lechinitanya Gezerah and Gezerah Ela Chatucha. It means that what that it is Chatucha. It's a cliff. Something that's steep and cutting. Lest you think this is a crazy maisa. Think about the Torah, guys. It's a little bizarre, right? It's a little bizarre. You're taking the seir, taking it out, walking a long distance, and throwing it off a cliff. In other words, there are people who might question the virtue of this protocol, right? Kind of weird. So if you might think that Tamloima Ani Hashem, I am Hashem. It's beautiful pasuk, right? So it says in the pasuk, it says Ani Hashem, I am Hashem, Ani Hashem Gezarti ve'en lecha rishus lahar behem. You can't think about it after these gezeres. Take a look at Rashi, guys. Okay. Shema toima ma'isa toyuheim ma kapara yesh b'shiluach zeh u'ma yesh b'yad soik zeh lahayal. It seems that the avoida of a carbon, where you go ahead, you do a shchita, you do a kabbalah, you do a zrika. We understand that this animal is in place of me. It's a kapara for me. Really, since I'm such a believer, I really should bring myself as a carbon. Hashem doesn't let me bring myself as a carbon. So b'makem ani, I'm bringing a carbon. People understand that. But no, to take an animal, throw it off a cliff, guess what? Ani Hashem, ani Gezarti, that's the ballpark. This is my Gezerah. Gezerah is HaMelech. Ani Hashem Gezartiv, the Ein Lecha Rishus Lahara Behem. You can't think otherwise. Amarava, Mistaber Kman Amma Mutarim, Mistaber like the one that says that the Ivarim Amuta, Layamatar is Shalach Litakala. It's a Svara. You didn't say Shalach Litakala. That's a very interesting Svara. You know, remember, we've discussed Mitzorah quite a bit, right? In this Masechta, we discussed the Mitzorah quite a bit. We discussed the 8th day. What about the first day, the day where he initiates, the Kohen comes, he goes Chutz L'Machne, he pronounces the Mitzorah Tahar. He takes 2 birds, one bird he leaves alive, one bird he shechs, he takes a haisap, and he goes like this, he sprinkles on the Mitzorah, and he sends away the bird. The Gemara has a shaila, is that bird what? Can you eat it or not? Says the Gemara, how can you not eat it? The Torah, someone's going to find it and eat it. If you can say it's also bad, no, someone's going to find a strange bird and eat it. Yeah, he's going to eat it. So the Torah would never go ahead and put a person in a situation of what? Of takala, where you're going to make a mistake. So who did over here? Someone comes along, he's got a dog and he finds a varim there and he wants to feed them a varim. He won't realize that what? He's an varim from the Seir. And so therefore, says Rava, in Svara, forget the pasuk of what? Of Midbar, even without the pasuk, it's mashma what? It's mashma that what? The Svara that the Torah would not say something for a takala. And then now, very nice, I got it till the end of the page. Tanrabanan, Azazel. Where does the name Seil Azazel? What does Azazel mean? Sheyehi Oz v'kasha. The word, guys, kale, the word Azazel. Azazel seems to mean kasha. It's a strong place, a harsh place. Yachal b'yishuv, I might think in an inhabited place. Talmud about midbar. That's Azazel in the midbar. U'minayin shebet soik. How do you know it's a cliff? Tamalayma gezerah. Gezerah, that I guess break it up into pieces. Right? Chatucha. Tanya idach Azazel kasha shebaharim. It's the strongest of the mountains. V'cheinu oimer. There's Elei Aretz Lokach. Elei, it's the strong people of the land Lokach. Tana Yishmael Azael. Why is it called Azael? Shemechaper al Maisa Uza ve'Uziel. It's a mechaper for the Maisa of Uza ve'Uziel. Who are they? Rashi alludes to it. Says Rashi, who are they? Says Rashi, Malachi Chavala. These are Sheyordu la'aretz. These are Malachim of destruction. Came down to this world. They made Namoin Achos Tuval Kayin. This is talking about not too many generations in. And Bereshis, guys, how did you get Og? How did you get these absurd, huge giants? So it says Hanaphilim Haybar, it's Hanaphilim that really they were giants. These were the product of the union of Uzzah and Uzziel. Rashi is not telling you the whole story, guys. Here's the story. It's a Yalkut Shemayim. These 2 malachim look down in the world and they told Rabbi Shlomo, the world is corrupt. People are taking it's full of snus and corruption. And this malachim say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, destroy the world. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells these malachim, if you be down there, you be nichshel too. The kachoya, they got to this world and they were nichshel. They took wives, and that's how these giants were born, because they were a union of supernatural beings, these malachim. So Stamazai, it's a very interesting thing. You say malachim don't have bechira. You see over here that they do have bechira, because right they chose, and you saw that what they did in Avera. So you see that there's a yisoid. Malachim have bechira, only don't have bechira. The closer proximity they are to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the farther they get away, the more bechira they have. Once they get to this world, they could have bechira. They can make choices. It's interesting. It's Rabbeinu Bechai. It's a very interesting yisoid. Anyway, so that's the Maisuz of Israel. So Doch comes out like this pshat, the Tanur of Yishmael, what Avera is the Semish Shalech Mechapa for? It's nus. We said it's Mechapa for everything. We said, guys, there's machlokes if it's the Kohanim and Yisrael or only Yisrael. But we said it's Mechapa for all the Averis. the par in the sayer that was done inside was Mechamed for Tumas Mikdash Kadashav. But any other various they mishtaleach, right? So the Braun wants a taina that the main aver was mechaper for was snus, and everything else was, came onto it. It's very interesting because the in the Svarim they call snus ha-avera. They call snus ha-avera, the avera. It's the first avera in the Torah, guys. The satan, the snake, desired Chava. So you see, there was a desire for another man's wife. It's licked in the velt azamin tuma. It brought about the hate of the Eitzadas, but the ha'avera was there. I mean, it's been around since the beginning of time. So therefore, that would be very geschmack with this. It's mechaper for the ma'asus is fascinating. Weiter. Tanrabanan. Es mishpatei tasu. Devarim shel moli nichtvu din hu sheyichtvu. These things are pashit. If it wasn't written, it should be written. Ve'elohein. Avodas kachavim. You're not supposed to be avodas zara. Garoyas. You're not supposed to not be with another man's wife. Shvichas damim, murder. Gezel. Berachas Hashem is a lashon sagino for the opposite of blessing Hashem. Es chukosai tishmayru. Devarim shasatin meishav aleim. These are the things that the son makes questionable, right? Ve'elohein achilas chazir, right? You never drove along, guys, in the throughway. You ever stop for a second and think like you could eat anywhere you want, like you're just anywhere. You're driving along. You're driving, take a road trip with the family, and you can imagine you could stop anywhere. What? Yeah, like in Israel, it has kosher word, it has Hebrew words. You could eat anywhere. Yeah, I don't think so. Anu moichrim basar lavan. That's what it said. We sell white meat. You know what white meat is? Chaza. Now, so achilas chaza, levisha shatnez, chalitzas yivama, tayrim mitzoyres, semish taleach. These are all very strange things. The shematayim and ma'asato. Hey, you think that ma'asato, they're things of nothing. Ani Hashem chakaktiv. I'm HaKadosh Baruch Hu who engraved them in my Torah. Ve'encha rishus lahara behem. No rishus to go ahead and mahara. Guys, we call mitzvahs gezeres hamelach. I'll tell you a wonderful maral. It's a wonderful maral. What's the mitzvah of Yehuda and Tema? Have a oz kaneme rotz katzvi gibu kari, right? So you go through them. You ask, what does rotz katzvi mean? Run like a deer, right? What does gevura kari? What does oz kaneme mean? Be bold like a leopard. That's the first thing. Be bold like a leopard. That's the first thing. What does it mean to be bold like a leopard? So they say if people laugh at you, you should have chutzpah. The leopard has tremendous chutzpah. What's the chutzpah of a leopard? If a leopard has a kill, right, and a lion wants to take the kill, the leopard won't give it up. Is this true? I hope so. It says the leopard, it'll fight for its food. It'll keep its food. That's chutzpah. The leopard weighs 135 pounds. A lion can weigh 250 pounds and even more. And it'll fight. It's a chutzpah. Says the Maral. This is first base. In yourself, the Yetzer Hara will tell you, oh, Shabbos is so geschmack around the table with the kinder. You're going to eat. You're going to sing Zmiris. It's very geschmack, right? Good. What about the things that are not so geschmack? What about the things that you find painful? What about things that are not so geschmack? Elamah. You have to have inside you the Yetzer Hara, the azus, the chutzpah to tell, I don't care. I'm not doing it because I understand it. I'm not doing it because of this fact. I'm doing it because Gezeres HaMelech. So then once you understand that, then what? What's katzvi, gibu kari? You can go do the mitzvah. But the amkus of the mitzvah, the purpose behind the mitzvah, you should do first is what? Have that azus with yourself. I don't care. And it means like you got to daven and change places at the same time. I still remember davening in London. I still remember I asked the person, this mice goes back 44 years. I was coming back to the United States. I was in London. I had a daven. You haven't davened at the airport. Beep, So I asked the person, which direction's east? So they said, oh, you want to face Mecca? I said, right direction, wrong religion. I said, anyway, I'm davening Shmoneh Esrei, and I'm trying to have kavana. I have the talis over my head. I have a sitter in front of me. I'm going like this. I stop. I look down. There's a little kid, in between me and the sitter. He's looking up at me like I'm from Mars. He was like right there. And I thought of this maral. I mean, Oz Kanema, as uncomfortable as it is, you can dive in that Afal Piken, not everyone's Superman who can find a telephone booth, right? To change it. You got to do it. That's us kanemen. That's the site of this Gemara, right? Whatever it is, because Baruch tells you to do it, just do it. Nike didn't come up with that. Hashem is an original thing. Hashem, just do it. That's it. Very good. Says the Gemara, right? Tanabana. Which time is Matama Begodim? Tanabana. So if we look at the pasuk, the Perik Tezayin and pasuk Chavav, it says the following: the one who sends the soyer, now we have the kohen who sends him, and we have the Mishalech, the one who brings him, and then we have people who accompany him. Right? Who's Tamei over here? Who's the Mishalech over here? Right? So the Gemara tells us. Let's do what it is. The one who brings it, but not the one who sends it. I might think that's only once he leaves Yerushalayim. And when I might think he only gets Mishalech. In other words, Mishalech's not when he leaves Yerushalayim, much when he's on the road. So I would think when he's on the road, maybe only when he finishes the road trip, right? When he gets to the end. Okay, Sad. Now Rabbi Yossi says no taka Azazel the chibes. Why does it say Azazel the chibes? Ad shegil itzaik until he reaches the Azazel to the itzaik. Right? Rabbi Shimon Omer the Mishalech has a soil Azazel Yechabes begadav Zorik Devas Roish Mitame begadim. So you have three shitas. You have it seems to be the Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda says as soon as he leaves Shalayim. Rabbi Yossi says as soon as he gets to the Midbar, and Rabbi Shimon says as soon as he throws them off the cliff. And I wish everyone good Shabbos. Bez Hashem tomorrow. Bez Hashem tomorrow we're gonna